Hey, welcome. It's yet another beautiful day that the Lord has blessed us with the gift of life. We thank Him for that. So let's hop in today. In my previous episode, I mentioned that I would handle the issue of debt management. Yes, I know most of us are indebted. We have quite a number of debts and we don't know when we'll clear or how we'll handle these debts. But today I bring good news to you that there are ways we can actually handle and tackle these debts. Debt management of multiple debts, I would say, when one has multiple debts, it's really hard for one to sit and think about the way to clear out these debts. But today, I want to talk to you about the various ways we can actually effectively manage these debts. However, debt management, especially multiple debt management, requires organization, discipline, and a clear plan. You need to be organized, you need to be disciplined, and you need to have a clear plan of how to handle these debts. So how are we going to go about this? I have a few strategies that so many people have used and it has worked for them. I personally am using one of them. And in the recent months, I'm seeing my debts reducing tremendously. I'm going to mention a few strategies and you will choose what would work for you, my dear. So the first strategy is debt consolidation. When someone says debt consolidation, what do they mean? Debt consolidation involves combining multiple debts into a single loan with a lower interest rate. Assuming you have a loan with Bank A, you have another loan with Bank B, and you have another loan with Bank C or a credit card with maybe Bank D. How are you going to handle this? Because you notice Bank A might have an interest rate of maybe 5% per annum. Bank B may have slightly higher, maybe 8% per annum. Bank C may have 10, and Bank D may have maybe 12. These are just examples. So when you combine all these debts, the interest rate you're paying across these four debts is quite high. Compared to someone who has one debt, you're indebted to one financial institution, and the interest rate is maybe lower than all this, assuming you're indebted to only Bank A, whose interest rate is 5%. So consolidating debts basically involves combining all these debts under one institution and paying as per that institution's interest rate. How can we do this? For example, if maybe let's say John has debts with Bank B, C, and D, but Bank A has a lower interest rate. Now, if there is an option of you going to borrow from Bank A, whose interest rate is way lower than Bank B, C, and D, you borrow an amount whereby you can clear Bank B, C, and D, and all their loans are moved under Bank A, whose interest rate is way lower than this. Usually, you need to know that when you clear a loan earlier, usually they give you maybe an early settlement fee. You can have an early settlement fee, meaning they may reduce for you the interest rate as per the agreed initial interest rate. So when you move these loans to Bank A, what happens? All the amounts of these loans combined are going to move under Bank A under an interest rate of 5%. So in the long run, you'll find that you're reducing on the interest rate tremendously, as opposed to having debts with multiple lenders. Now, what are the benefits? What are the benefits of consolidating loans? It simplifies payment. At the back of your mind, you know that you're only indebted to one financial institution or one lender. It may also reduce total interest rate that you pay in the long run, just as I explained earlier, as opposed to having 4 lenders on your case with different interest rates, and yet when you combine those interest rates together, it's alarming. As opposed to a one John who has only one loan with bank A, and they know that this is the interest rate I'm paying. Yeah, so consider debt consolidation if you have options of doing so. Our next strategy when managing multiple debts is debt snowball method. A snowball. Yeah, so what is debt snowball method? This is basically focusing on paying off your smallest debts while making minimum payments on the others. So how do we go around this? Step 1, you're going to list down all your debts from the smallest to the largest. So you know that I'm indebted to this money lender, I'm indebted to this bank, I'm indebted maybe to this microfinance, I'm indebted maybe to so and so. So you list these debts you list all your debts from the smallest or from the least to the largest. And then you start by clearing the smallest debts. Focus aggressively on clearing the smallest debts while paying off a minimum amount to the others. Don't ignore the other debts. As you're paying the smallest, first, do not ignore the others. Keep depositing some small amounts, minimum amounts on the other debts. So once you've aggressively handled this small debt, you're going to move to the next smallest. So whenever you're done, tick off that. It's now off your head. Handle the next smallest debt. How do we do this? Follow the same criteria you did with the previous debt that you had just paid off, and maintain depositing minimum amounts on the other debts. That is the snowballing method. So what are the benefits of snowballing? It provides a quick win. Trust me, when you clear a small debt, you'll breathe and you're like, oh my goodness, that one is gone. And it motivates you as a debtor to keep paying off other small debts as you're climbing up the ladder to the biggest debt. Yeah, so our first point was debt consolidation, where you're combining all your debts. And secondly, we've considered the snowball method. Now, the third one, we call it the debt avalanche method. How does this work? It's almost similar to snowball method. However, as opposed to listing the debts according to their value, this case we are listing the debts as according to their interest rates. As I mentioned earlier when I was explaining the consolidation method, you may have several debts but with different interest rates. Now, in that under the debt avalanche method, we are listing down debts from their as per their interest rates, prioritizing paying off debts with the highest interest rates. Now, with the snowball method, I say you start with the least, the one with the least amount. Now, for the avalanche, it's the opposite. You start with the debt with the highest interest rate. You list them down again from the highest to the lowest interest rate. Then pay extra on the debts with the highest interest rate. Remember, you want to get rid of these debts with highest interest rates so that you remain with the ones with the low interest rates. What are the benefits? All these methods have benefits. With the avalanche method, once you've cleared one debt with the highest interest rate, you move down to the next. Assuming you had one with 15%, 10%, so you've cleared the one with 15%, so your next shot is on the one with 10%. But remember, as you're paying these debts with highest interest rates, don't forget the others with lower small interest rates. Keep depositing on those as well. What are the benefits? It saves you more money or interest in the long run, because you've gotten rid of the debts with the highest interest rates, so they are gone. You're now remaining with the ones with the small interest rates, meaning you're saving more money. Your take home is more than when you had the debts with high interest rates. I'm talking a lot, but I need you to pay attention to these methods. At the end of the day, you'll choose what works for you most, which strategy works for you to manage your debt. Now, our fourth strategy is creating a budget and tracking your spending or expenditure. When you create a budget, in our previous video, I was talking about creating a budget, identifying needs, wants, and so on. So what steps involve in creating a budget? One, you're going to list all your income sources. Where does your money come from? Do you have a permanent job? Do you have some side hustles? You're going to list down all your income sources. And then secondly, you list down your expenses. Then go ahead and identify areas to cut off costs. Identify areas whereby you can cut off some costs. For instance, if you have wants that you can really do without, identify those wants and first pause them as you handle your debts. Then finally, allocate a portion of your income to debt repayment. You're going to say, I have identified all my income sources. Now I have gone ahead and identified my expenses. I have identified areas where I can cut off some costs. Now I need to allocate portion of my income to debt repayment, because your goal is to clear your debts. Yeah, you can say, maybe let me put 40% to clear my debts, since I've gotten rid of some areas where I can cut off costs or spend less or pause the costs for the meantime. So meaning you're going to have more income for your expenses and debt repayment. Now, when it comes to creating a budget and tracking your expenditure, there are tools that are available in the market today that can help you handle these things. To handle your budgeting and debt repayment, we have the Mint. It's a Mint can help you track your budgeting. These are apps. These are budgeting apps. We have the YNAB or YNAB app. It also helps you track your budgeting and your expenditure. When you put these things into action, remember you need organization. So the one thing that can help you be organized when handling debt repayment is a budget. And these apps are available. You can go to Google Play Store for Android and App Store for Apple products. So those are so far four strategies I've identified. You can, as we are going through this, please, if you're enjoying this session, go ahead and tap on the like button. This encourages me to create more content that can help people with personal finance, budgeting, and debt management, and so many topics under finance, managing our finance. So please go ahead and tap on that like button. You can also click on the bell so that whenever I post a new video, you can be among the first to get a notification on the video that I've just posted. You can also follow me. Yes, subscribe if you feel I'm sharing content that is of importance to you. Please go ahead and share. You can also share this link. You can also subscribe. Thank you. So let's go ahead. Our fifth strategy under debt management is negotiating with creditors. Yes, you may reach a point whereby you're choking and you can't do this anymore. It doesn't stop you. It won't kill you to ask, to go ahead and try and ask if there is room for negotiation with your creditors. Contact your creditors to explore lower interest rates. Are they willing to maybe lower for you the rates? I know these are rare scenarios, but who knows? When you give it a try, maybe there is room for reducing for you an interest rate by maybe 1%. Especially if you're willing to pay this loan in the shortest time, there could be room for negotiation with your creditors. if you feel that you're over indebted. Now, as you negotiate with your creditor, you can also ask them if there is room for revising your payment plan. For instance, if it was a long term, is there room for reducing the plan to a shorter term, or vice versa? You understand? So when you do this, it also gives the creditor the know that you are willing to clear their debt. You understand? You are willing to pay back their money, as opposed to you sitting and choking with the loan, and at some point you fail to clear. Yeah. So what are the benefits of negotiating with a creditor? One, it reduces financial stress and improves your payment terms. As I mentioned earlier, instead of sitting and choking off on your debts, when you go ahead and consult your creditors and ask if there is room for improving the payment plans, maybe reducing on interest rates, assuming they actually acknowledge and they are willing to reduce for you the interest rates, you're going to go back home and you feel like you've handled a certain stress that was affecting your health, your mental health mainly. So financial stress is a killer. That one I know. People are hanging themselves because of loans. People are committing suicide in various ways, like hanging themselves, drowning themselves because of financial stress. But when you open up and go to your creditor and share these details with them, I mean, they are human. There could be room for improvement. Yeah. So consider negotiating with your creditors if they are willing to revise your payment plan. Now, our sixth strategy, I know there are quite many, but I want to share this so that you can have a variety and choose from the different strategies what can work for you best. Now, there is what we call the 50-30-20 rule. This is mainly applied on your income. As you have a salary, maybe you have a side hustle, you've brought all your different income sources together and you know exactly how much you earn, maybe in a month. Now you're going to consider the 50-30-20 rule. How does this work? 50% for needs such as rent, utilities, groceries, and all that. That is 50%. You know that you've covered your rent, you've covered your utilities, water, electricity, internet, and quite others. And then the 30% is for wants such as entertaining and dining out. Maybe you're in your family you're used to taking your family out every Sunday for lunch. So you prefer dining out with your family every Sunday. Entertainment could maybe going to the movies, going to watch a band play. So the 30% covers that. But I want you to remember that if you can do with this for the meantime, that 30% can be added to your debt repayment. However, if you cannot do without the wants, allocate 30% for your wants. Or if you feel 30% is high, you can put 20. But under the 50-30-20 rule, 30% is usually on entertainment and dining out and other wants. Now, finally, the 20% for savings and debt payments. Yeah? But you can break this rule to work for you. You can alter the 20% to go under wants and then the 30% for your savings and debt repayment. It will help you because you have a plan, you're organized, and be disciplined and follow this plan. That's the only way you're going to handle debt payment. Number 7. Our next strategy, number 7. Oh, before I go to number 7, what are the benefits of of the 50-30-20 rule. It ensures that you balance debt repayment with other priorities. Just because you're indebted doesn't mean you shouldn't do other things. Your life has to move on. So when you have the 50-30-20 rule, it's going to help you balance your debt repayment with your other priorities. And then our next strategy is using automatic payment methods. An example is bank standing orders. Now, how do these help you? The automatic payment methods, such as standing orders, how do they help you handle your debts? This help you not to miss out on a debt that is due. So for instance, when I set a standing order that I need maybe $500 to go to bank A, or maybe $200 to go to bank B, $100 to go to bank C, on such and such dates. When that date clocks, I have to make sure there is money on my account. When that date clocks, or when I'm nearing that date, I can even set an alarm or an alert to remind me that, oh, your standing order is soon, maybe a week earlier, so that I ensure that I deposit money on my account, so that when that day comes, my debt installment is automatically moved to bank A, B, and C, respectively. So what are the benefits of using an automatic payments method? One, it helps you not to miss debts, and usually some banks, when you delay with paying their money, or when you skip a payment date, there is risk of late fees. Secondly, using automatic payment method also improves your credit score over time, because it helps you not to miss on your payments or go late on your payments. All right, I hope we're enjoying this. Please go ahead and comment as well if there is anything I've missed out regarding any of the payments, in any of the strategies we are discussing above. Please go on my comment section and drop in a comment. If you like the discussion, go ahead and drop in a comment as well. Like the video, it motivates me, gives me the zeal to go ahead and research and share with you more content related to personal finance or finance management. Finally, number 8, we have seeking professional help. You may reach a point whereby all the strategies I've mentioned above don't work for you. Your income is not enough. Seek professional help. Consider working with a credit counselor for guidance. Yeah, just like as we have mental health counselors, the marriage counselors, we also have the credit counselors. These are people who understand and who can take you through and guide you on how to handle your debt when you can't do it on your own. Of course, there may be small fees, but they are not alarming. You understand? But at the end of the day, these people will guide you and help you handle your debt accordingly. Also consider having a debt management program to consolidate and lower payments. Just as I mentioned in the very first point, debt consolidation. Seeking professional help also involves having a debt management program to consolidate and lower repayments. We also have debt settlement companies. However, be conscious of this because they come with their own risks. Yes. Another strategy is, have you thought of thinking of increasing or exploring other income sources, side hustles? Lately, there are so many side hustles. As you have your full-time job, consider side hustles as well to help you boost on your income, and also ensure that any extra money coming from your side hustles is directed towards accelerating the process of clearing your debts. Don't again earn from your side hustles and you're going out for dinner every night. You get? It doesn't make sense. The reason as to why you've acquired the side hustle is to ensure that it accelerates your debt repayment. Then finally, our last point or strategy is consider bankruptcy as a last resort. If the debts become unmanageable, explore bankruptcy options, but I don't advise this because I'm sure my viewers, we can do this. You can choose from the above, excluding this last point, and one of them will work for you. Yes. In conclusion, by combining these strategies, you can develop a debt repayment plan that works for you, for your financial situation and goals. I'm sure we'll get there. I too, as much as I'm giving you this content, I'm also learning and applying the same to manage my debts. Thank you so much for today. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with you. See you in the next episode. I remain Revamped Lily. Bye-bye.